All right, no Darren Smith today. Darren was texting me earlier from the runway at the San Diego airport, so I know he at least made it onto the plane, and then he stopped responding to my text, so I'm assuming that plane is in the air. The next time I hear from him will likely be, he'll be on the other side of the world, and that'll be fine. So, you guys, the subscribers of Section 1904, thank you as always. You're going to get a lot of me this week, and probably next week. But today, because apparently my ex-wife was unavailable, I'm having on my ex-co-host from Padres Hot Tub, Craig Elsten. Craig, how are you doing this morning?
Is it factually true that your ex-wife was unavailable and then you called me? Is that just a fun intro?
Can I make it dark for a second? It's a fun intro that popped into my head because my ex-wife actually did reach out to me yesterday to let me know that my, I guess, former father-in-law, one of the top 5 sweetest, nicest, kindest people I've ever met in my life, has passed on and is no longer with us. So Stanley Partika, I'm not going to say we'll remember you. Craig didn't know you. None of the listeners know you, but I will always remember you. You were a wonderful father-in-law and a lovely man. And so I guess, yeah, she is factually unavailable. So yeah, let's call that one factual. Craig, I have invited you here. I've asked for about an hour of your time, and I've given you no agenda for what we're going to talk about.
That's true. That's true.
And this is why. Because I want to play a game with you. This morning, I made a list of all of the topics of conversation that you and I typically get into. Not on a podcast, just in general. If we were golfing, if we were having a beer, anything. I've written them all down on little sheets of paper. And
what you're just going to play grab out of a hat? Literally out of a hat.
And I put them in my daughter's leopard print bucket hat, which is upside down.
Beautiful.
There's little bits of paper in there. They're all crumpled up, so I don't know which is which.
All right.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm randomly going to pick topics out of the hat. And at the end, we'll see which ones we didn't have time for, right? You, as the guest, get a chance to pass on any of these. If I bring one up and you're like, I don't want to, pass. And we'll just move on to the next one. And anytime we feel like the conversation's running out of steam, either you can say, grab another topic, or I will say, let's grab another topic. And we will grab another piece of paper out of the hat, and we'll go from there. Craig, are you ready to play this game?
I love games, and now that I know the game, I'm excited. Go ahead.
Good.
And
all
pull
right.
a
I haven't
slip.
even told you what any of these topics are. They're just 11 topics that we typically discuss.
If they're things we typically discuss, then I shouldn't be overly alarmed at anything that pops out. So we'll find.
Correct. Out. There's only like one or two that I feel like you might pass on, and even those I feel like you might not. All right. So I don't even need to like mix them up because I can't see what any of them say. So the first one, Craig.
Yes.
First one says, oh, you're going to love it. It says golf. Hey. Let's talk about golf, Craig. How's your golf game?
Improving.
Yeah.
Estoy mejorando cada día. Not every day, but Friday I had a lesson. I hadn't had a lesson in a couple of months.
Okay.
And every time I don't have a lesson for an extended period of time, my other teachers start to slide into my thought process. You know, the ones who show up in little rectangular boxes.
The social media teachers, yeah.
When you go to Instagram or to Facebook, of course, Kawa Shallow. I've just clicked on too many of his. So essentially, my little rectangular boxes are always 2 of this Japanese guy.
Wait, have you tried his weird swing that he invented? Because I tried it once and it like totally fucked me up for like a month. Like I couldn't get out of it. Principles
of it
are fine. Yeah.
Make perfect sense.
Yeah.
I've done some stuff with the strong left hand that I felt good about. In terms of, and that for anyone who's not golfing, you're ignoring this anyways. So
yeah, exactly.
But having a strong grip, he recommends having a strong grip as opposed to a neutral grip or a weak grip with your left hand. Yeah. To the point where you'd see the the button of your glove.
Yep.
You know. And that's something that has worked kind of okay. The best thing about doing a lesson is it just I've got 2 things that I do that are bad, like consistently.
Okay.
Well, the worst one is I dip. I'll get my setup and my takeaway.
You bend your knees.
No, I actually literally fucking bend at the waist. Like,
wow, okay.
I go down here to here, and it takes the whole plane off, and then I'm fat.
Got it.
And then I'm behind it.
Got it.
And I do that way too much.
Okay.
Way too much.
Okay.
And the other is I go too far back. I get to the right takeaway point, and then I go beyond it, and then that overcorrection.
Yeah.
Hey, did you just see what I did? If like that overcorrection brings your shoulder forward, and for me it brings my head down, and when I do that, I dip. So fixing those two things, when I do it right now, you know that first hole at Mission Trails. Maybe you don't, but or you might not remember. Yeah, but the long dogleg right. It's actually rated the hardest hole on the course. Yeah,
yeah. And if you have any kind of a slice, you're probably ending up in the little riverbed thing.
Right, and it runs to the right all through the first half up to the river, right, and then you got a straight uphill. I had my first. I came off the lesson right into a round with one of our patrons, and literally 220 drive, 200 yard 3-wood, left myself 80 on the third shot, approach wedge right to the top of the green, 15-foot putt for birdie, missed it a foot to the right.
Yeah.
Not a worry putt, tap it in. 5, most legit 5. I think maybe like the fourth or fifth 5 I've ever had.
Look at you
on one, but it was the first time ever that bing, bing, bong, birdie putt. An absolutely pro attack of the hole.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, the next time I made par of that round was 18. I got really tired, and I made double bogeys, and more double bogeys than I'm used to. But like, I get scared sometimes because I put together that sequence, and it feels like, holy shit, I could challenge 80.
Yeah.
Literally, if I can go,
if I can do this for 18 holes,
right? Yeah. Two rounds back, I was not playing good. I clicked in on the back half. I parred 5 out of 6.
Yeah.
Including that super long 14.
Yeah.
And it wasn't exactly the same, but it was pretty similar. I had my putter out on the 4th shot, and it was putting a little off the green, but still, I had my putter out in the 4th shot. So like, you put that together and you go, damn, I'm close. And then when I lose it,
so frustrating. So here's where I'm at. One, I am mad at you is not the right word. Jealous is probably the right word, in that for a very long time, you and I, we kind of started golfing around the same time, and we golfed a lot together.
Absolutely.
Similar consistency, and we were getting better. Like I think I was getting better just a little bit faster than you, and I think that was just like my age. Like I got an advantage in that I'm a few years younger, and therefore I still have a little bit more like twist in my body. You have kept up with it, and I've completely fallen into like a really irregular habit where I don't touch my clubs for long periods of time. And actually, you were there on my birthday when we played La Costa, and I had a round. This has never happened to me. I had a round so bad that like I didn't quit golf, but I was like, I need to take some time, because I have always been like, golf is a very different sport. Like I grew up playing like baseball and basketball and soccer, and like a lot of these sports, it's like the more oomph you put into it, the more you get out of it. And so my brain is always trained to like, if it's not going far enough, swing harder. And like, that's the wrong thing to do in golf.
The opposite of what to do in golf.
The opposite of what you should do. So like, after that round in January, I don't know if I've golfed since then. I may have golfed one time since then, and it's been 3.5 months. I think I went to the driving range once since then is what I did. And like, I'm trying to reprogram my brain to be like, this is not a sport. Like, cause I want my brain to untrain itself from like, when things are going bad, push harder. I'm trying to be like, it's supposed to be simple. It's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to, and so I do, I'm still doing the thing. I watch the Instagram videos. I practice with an invisible club, an invisible ball in my living room or whatever. The one time I went to the driving range, I was like, okay, this feels good. I'm not swinging too hard. I'm not over swinging. I'm making good, consistent contact. This is good. The ball's going relatively straight. This is good. I actually might go back to the driving range today, because it's been probably about a month since I've gone, just to see where I'm at. But it's been like a deprogramming thing, and it's been really, really weird and different for me. And I hope on the other end of it, it's going to end up worth it. And I'm going to get rid of some of my like bad habits of like what I do when things go wrong. I just need a better plan for that. But people don't want to hear about our golf games. So let's move on to the next topic. I'm going to reach in the hat.
Very fair. Yeah. And I would just keep talking about golf. So
I know.
Good thing to pull up stakes on there.
Yep. All right. This one says, this is an interesting one, because there was two that were kind of tied together, and this is one of them. This just says sports media. And this is a conversation that Darren and I have a lot. This is a conversation that you guys at Padres Hot Tub have sometimes. You've now been on both sides of this, right? You've been new media, Padres Hot Tub, Crossing Streams, the Soccer's podcast, which I never remember the name of.
Soccer's Overtime.
There we go. I knew it was something simple. And you've also been old media, right? You've been in radio a couple times. You've done a lot of TV hits, stuff like that. I'm going to get into a conversation in a couple days with Bill Handstock about how everything is turning into professional wrestling. Like social media is turning into professional wrestling. Sports media is turning into professional wrestling. And I don't mean the actual action of wrestling. I mean the like, I'm going to say a thing that I don't actually believe to troll people and piss people off, because getting a reaction is what I like, what I'm here for, what I get paid for, whatever, right? And it kind of like came to a head with the Shadur Sanders thing and the prank phone call and all of that. You can go down that road if you want, or you can go down any other path you want as far as where sports media is, where you would like it to go, where the parts of it that you didn't like that have fallen off that you're happy to see go. It's sports media. Table is yours.
Sports media by and large is being subsumed by the sports industry itself, being carved in-house and then, gutted of its original intent and meaning.
Yeah.
And it doesn't in any way mean that like AJ Cassavell isn't a good reporter, doing a good job as a beat reporter, or that, anyone else who's working for MLB.com, isn't still a good baseball writer,
right,
or baseball reporter, but that they weren't going to do a story about Shield, in January, beyond whatever the Padres would literally approve, in those lines. When
you say they, who you say they, who are we talking about?
What, the pod? I mean, I'm just speaking in that specific sense, like the
Padres. You talk about like Padres.com.
Yeah, Padres.com is not going to run anything that the Padres brass doesn't approve of.
Right.
I think a lot of people thought that 97.3 is completely in the thrall of the Padres. I didn't believe that in 2024. I think it's a lot more true in 2025.
What do you think changed?
The Padres.
Really?
Yeah. The Padres are a very sensitive organization. Mm-hmm. And if you're working for them, even obliquely, that's, again, I'm not speaking ill of the Padres. Believe me, every NFL team is doing
MLS team too.
MLS teams do it absolutely. And every new team tries to set those type of standards of, hey, you're going to follow us the right way. You're going to cover us the right way. And that means the way we want it. But look, I'm only 52, but sometimes I feel extremely old, in terms of like, I grew up in an area where like Bernie Wilson was a run of the mill reporter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Not in a bad sense.
Yeah.
Like he was a mainstream. That's what you'd expect.
They don't want journalists doing journalism anymore. Like they want the stories that they want out there broken by their people. And like some of the reason for this is because they pay those people, right? Like I get the Padres 100%. Don't pay AJ Cassavell, but he's an employee of Major League Baseball. So they're kind of like, you're our guy. So you should be the one breaking the news that we want to break. And you should be breaking it the way we want to break it. And as you said earlier, like, and the things that we don't want you to talk about, you're not going to talk about them. And there's been this push. And I remember the early days of like Chargers.com getting like writers and stuff. And even like when I became a Cowboys fan, like Cowboys hiring writers from like the local newspaper and everything. And they're like, oh, now we have the best beat reporter working for the team. And I'm like, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. And you're getting to a point where the teams are like, we're not going to share information with the press. We're not going to share information with the local newspaper guy or the local guy at The Athletic. But this guy over here who works for us, he's going to get it. So then the fans are like, oh, he's the source of information who gets everything. He's the newsbreaker. He's the person that I need to follow and I need to read. And then the only thing they're getting is whatever gets filtered through the team. It's messy. And it's like, even when you get away from the teams, like ESPN is now clearly at a point where like, if you work for them, you better be bringing in money. Like, and that's why gambling and ESPN Bet is becoming a bigger deal. Cause they're like, if we make money over there, it can pay for, Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith and Mina Kimes and everyone else over here. And, you and I grew up in a place where it was like sports journalists were just journalists. They were just news journalists. It wasn't, hey, you have to bring in a certain amount of money, or hey, you have to cover the team in a certain way. It was like there was a police activity beat writer. There's a local events beat writer. There's a national news beat writer. There's a politics beat writer, and there's a sports beat writer. And they were all even, and they were all roughly doing the same thing, just with different areas of expertise. And that just doesn't exist anywhere anymore, except for like occasionally you bump into it in like the blogosphere and like Substack and stuff like that. Guys and women who are just like, I'm going to cover the story and give people the God's honest truth. And some of them are getting rewarded for it. But by and large, like the large companies that run sports media don't want things working that way anymore. And no. I don't know why. And I think it's because we got away from subscription models and went to advertising models. It used to be like the UT was like, hey, if we have a good sports section, people are going to subscribe to our newspaper to read it, or subscribe to our website to read it. And now it's like, well, when we write a story about the Chargers, it gets more clicks and we can charge more for ads. And so that's what's most important, right? And they're still trying to do subscriptions to a certain extent. But like everything became about volume and ads. And back in the day, the journalists they were not in there for volume and ads. They were in there for quality, prestige, and to get more people signing up for subscriptions for newspapers and magazines.
Well, yeah, but I got to push back a little bit, because back in the day, the newspapers made their money on the classifieds. Yeah, that's where they made their money, and those
you killed that with your list, Craig.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, those are literal ads.
Yeah, I know.
Those are ads being placed by somebody for somebody, and also by companies, and so that aspect of newspapers completely collapsed, and that was really a huge part of their win condition. Yeah. And that's when they were forced to turn to the subscriber. I mean, the subscription model used to be the newspaper being literally thrown at your house.
Yeah,
physically. Now, of course, the internet destroyed that, because then newspapers had to get online, and then it was like, well, I'm not going to pay for the paper. I can read it online. Then they went, nope, you're going to subscribe to pay for it online. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, the classifieds and the ads that companies would run for the mattress sale on the weekend, completely lost their value. I mean, that's a literal thing, though. I mean, when you talk about the death of media, the fucking mattress sale is a huge part of it. Yeah. When you had 2-3 newspapers, 8-10 different media companies in the city of San Diego, and they are competing to get those advertising dollars. They're trying to compete to get, Mattress King and
the giant used car tent sale.
100%, the tent sale and the the street fair and all the different local things that were local ads that were locally bought, locally sold. This was a locally sustainable thing. Then national groups come in, consolidate, buy up all of these individuals. The individuals are gone. They're bought out. Now one company owns the 8 radio stations instead of 8 companies or 5 companies owning the 8 radio stations. And now it's the national ads that are coming in. Now the local stuff gets subsumed out. Now you've lost that level. Now when the national thing fades, guess what happens? Everyone gets fucking fired. Because it's time to consolidate, because we have to get our P&L sheet in line for our investors back in New York, back in Baltimore, back in Philadelphia, back in Denver, wherever the corporate seat is for that particular place. I mean, my last radio escapade died out of a spreadsheet in Philadelphia that was sent out. You know, we're going to cut 800 people nationwide. They're going to be in these time slots. It's going to be this amount of money that's going to be reduced because we know what's coming in quarters 2, 3, 4, and we need to get out in front of it. And that's the kind of shit that now happens, whereby if I was working for a local owner who was selling local advertising in a local manner, then there would be no reason for that to happen, because the success of what you're doing would matter. And instead, it doesn't matter because it's all going into some big corporate glob pot. So all of these things, consolidation destroyed media. And I will blame Clinton, you know, for being as, diehard progressive as I am. I will blame Clinton. He was the one who really ushered in the era of consolidation in media. I'm sure it would have been the next joke if it wasn't him, but nonetheless. And then from there, we're now at the spot where journalism itself is borderline an act of rebellion, you know, on a news side, and on a sports side, it's just really been crushed down into nothing. If you work for the corporations, you know, you're going to do, as I said, what's on toll, or you're going to work as an outsider and you're going to build a subscription base of your own, you know, as we're each doing, you know, or have done doing. And that's a beautiful thing. You know, I mean, I got let go from corporate radio, but it was a great job. It paid well. You know, it wasn't easy. You know, I'm good at what I do. You know, like I was able to go in for 20 hours and create content kind of by myself a lot of the time and get it over the line. You know, we increased the ratings, we increased the viewership, we increased the engagement. Everything went up, you know, over the course of 5 quarters. And our reward was just to be reduced in a clause on page 3 of the contract that, you know, was never discussed at any point ever. You know, like, hey, by the way, we can just, if we decide it's in the corporation's best interest, we can just let you go tomorrow. You know, and it doesn't matter what contract you signed, you're gone. That day, you know, 50 people upped their subs on Hot Tub, you know, and that basis has allowed us to jump into this space so much harder than I would have been able to if I was putting all my focus over there. So would I ever want to go back? Never. Like, never. I mean, you know, even now, if they asked back, I'd have a really fucking hard time saying yes. You know, I'd have a really hard time because you're at their mercy. And yeah, I don't know. We should go to the next topic.
No, it's funny. It's funny you put it in those terms because you're matching a lot of what Darren said when we launched this, which is Darren didn't want to go back into radio, and one of the main reasons he didn't want to go back into radio was he was like, I was sick and tired of having decisions about my job, my show, the station that I was on, being made by some guy in, you know, an office building in Pennsylvania or something. Like, they don't know anything about that. I'm just a number. I'm just a whatever. Yeah. And yeah, no, it's beautiful to see all these little local and independent publications showing up and succeeding in their own ways. I'm just, you know, we were right in the 90s to criticize anyone who sold out. And I don't know how you get around that. Anyway,
it was all gonna happen. Yeah. Next thing, but
next piece of paper. Piece of paper. All right, I'll grab this one. I hope there's a Padres one in here somewhere. I hope we get it. Oh, this one says music. What have you been listening to, Craig?
The National almost all year.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
Almost all year. Everything.
So every time I've tried the National, they've been just a little too chill for me. Just a little too chill.
Okay, the unlock for me was the live album that they published in December.
Okay.
It's called Rome because it was
Recorded in Rome. Sure.
And I mean, it's like 20 plus songs of some of their more recent stuff, but most of their, bigger hits. And I think the hidden thing about the National is how hard they rock.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. The two guitarists, the two brothers who twin guitar. I mean, when it goes live, I mean, it fucking goes. And that band can completely rock. Some of the recordings are a lot more quiet.
Yeah.
Almost to the level of Langwood. But, man, yeah. Lit Up, System Only Dreams in Darkness, Don't Swallow the Cap. I'm just thinking off the top of my head of some of the songs that just completely fucking bang and rock. And others like build with this intensity, like Runaway.
Yeah. I've listened to some of their songs that just build over the course and hit like a crescendo towards the end. And it's good. I like that. But sometimes I also want to dance.
Yeah. I feel it. It's not usually poppy beat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dance beat necessarily, but they do fucking rock. And a lot of great lyrics, a lot of depth of catalog. And it's just a band I literally, other than Mr. November, basically knew nothing about for the first, 20 years of their existence or 18 years of their existence. And then that album, I'm like, I'm going to give this a chance, like really give it I had played the album that has Mr. November. That had been on my phone and I'd played through it for years, but like it didn't make me jump into the rest of the band. And then when I did, like, honestly, I've probably already locked in my Apple Unwind or Rewind or whatever. Because it's been that, and then it's been Jazz Out on the course. I've been trying to really calm my mind on the course. A lot of Miles Davis in a Silent Way, and Herbie Hancock, like stuff that just like really, really on the chill end of that.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you and listeners of this podcast a quick behind the scenes, and then I'm gonna give you a music recommendation. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm gonna give you a music recommendation.
I always listen.
So first, I found this kid on TikTok who's like a jazz drummer, but he drums in a way that just scratches an itch on my brain. Like I don't know how else to put it. It's like he's drumming so fast and he's messing with timings in the middle of them but everything he's doing, and he's got this really funny thing where like his face just goes like dead and cold while he's drumming. Like it looks like he's completely zoning out, but his hands are moving fast. And he was doing TikTok videos. Now he's doing YouTube shorts. They're like 30 seconds long of him just like, look at this crazy drum thing I made up. And it's usually like, it's what I would consider jazz drumming. And I love it so much. So I've been grabbing those and using them as like the intro and the outro to this podcast. I'll probably do it again today. His name is Adam Lorenzi, Lorentzi. You can find him on TikTok or YouTube if you want to listen to or watch 30-second clips of a guy with a complete stone face, like coma face, just drumming his ass off. He's amazing. Here's my music recommendation. So there's this girl, and I can call her girl because she's like 23 and I'm 40. Her name is Lola Young. And Lola Young I found on, again, TikTok. It's why I'm still on TikTok, is I discover like so much good music that I wouldn't find otherwise. And she had a TikTok thing a couple years ago where she had a song. She wrote a song. It was good. It was catchy. And she was just like, how do I get this song big? And so like for a while, every day, she would just record herself singing like 45 seconds of the song, right? She had like a podcast microphone. And sometimes she'd be like, sitting on a park bench. Sometimes she's on a swing set. Sometimes she's in her room. And it was like every day you just got 45 random seconds of the song while she's singing into a podcast mic, staring into a camera. And the song was just really catchy. And because she kept doing it, she just kept appearing in my feed. And I was like, oh, she's good. I like her. And I remember like someone was like, please put this on Spotify. She eventually put it on Spotify. I went, I liked it. I listened to it on Spotify from time to time. It's a catchy song. And then I just kind of forgot about her. And a couple weeks ago, a song of hers popped up in like a TV commercial or something. And like, I'm very good at recognizing singers' voices. Like, you can play me a song I've never heard before and go like, who's singing this? Chances are, if I've heard that singer before, I can identify them. It's a weird, trick. So anyway, so I heard this song in a commercial and I'm like, is that girl who did the song? What was her name? And I finally got to I was like, oh, Lola Young. She came out with an album in 2024. So last week I listened to the album start to finish. It's fucking great. I've listened to it start to finish like 10 times since then. And this is the part you'll enjoy. I was trying to figure out, like, if I had to describe this to someone, how would I describe it? And I'm like, well, she's like a mix of like Adele and Amy Winehouse. And so that's what I came up with, right? I'll extend it in a second, but that's what I came up with. And then like the next day I was thinking about it and I was like, am I just doing this because she's a British girl? Am I just going like, oh, she sounds like the British girls I know? And then I found out that like her managers, like the people who basically discovered her, are the managers of Adele and the former manager of Amy Winehouse. And I was like, oh, okay, now I feel better. I have now extended this to she's a mix of Adele, Amy Winehouse, and Halsey, if you've ever listened to the three of them. Oh, wow. Not kid friendly because she's in her early 20s. She talks a lot about sex and getting fucked and I want you to die to like her ex-boyfriend, whatever. And some of the songs are a little dancey and some of the songs are just her with an acoustic guitar. She's one of those weird people who sings with a thick British accent, which just melts me every time, right? Like I'm a sucker for a British accent. But it's all very creative and different. And I don't know, like each song is different from the song before it. And it's just, it brings me back to my 20s, right? Like it's a whole album about just being an emotional mess, right? And it's not having your shit together, but trying. And like, it brings me back to that time in my life. And I've been really enjoying it. So Lola Young, I think the name of the album is This Wasn't Meant for You or something like that. I think it's her only album. So Lola Young, go find her. She's awesome. The song of hers that's becoming like kind of a hit is called Messy. It's like right in the middle of the album. It's really good. It's been stuck in my head for a week straight.
First thing comes up here on the old Google.
It's probably going to come up with Messy.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's the first one. Top.
Oh, the first one that comes up. Yeah. So anyway, listen to Lola Young. She's good. I'm grabbing another piece of paper.
Let's see. What condition does Lola Young have? AI overview. Lola Young has been publicly diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder.
Yeah, sometimes she'll like randomly have to cancel shows and stuff like that. She's got some medical stuff.
Okay.
All right. So in the category of don't listen to Lola Young around your children, this piece of paper says parenting.
Oh, God.
You want to pass?
No, James is going into high school, man. He's going to Helix.
That's cool. I know you were trying to get him into Helix.
Well, it's a lottery.
Yeah, but he got in.
Yeah, he did. He
fantastic.
He got in, and like one of his friends, his friend Conan didn't, but he was on the waiting list, and now he's already up to number 4 on the waiting list. So like he's obviously going to get in. So I feel like there's probably some attrition. Helix just reminds me the most of what Poly was, and specifically Poly in the PACE program, which is, what I was lucky to go through, except it's the entire high school. It's not like here's this one building that's off doing this and that. It's very academically focused. It's got an incredible amount of support. It does the larger length class size, which was a feature of PACE as well, like a 90-minute class instead of a 60-minute class, and classes that are rotating, that you're taking every other day instead of every day. All kinds of would you like to go on a science track, a business track, academics track, this, that, the other thing, art. It's got an incredible art program. Sports is gigantic. Everything, it's close enough. I really, really like it. Every time I've gone, I've been like, fuck, this is the closest thing I've seen to what I had. And that was the most important time, I think, and high school for me was only 3 years, for him, it's going to be 4. So
wait, why?
In Long Beach, it was K to 6, and then middle school was 7, 8, 9.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so strange.
Yeah. And high school was just 10, 11, 12.
That's so strange. But I mean, I'm not against it. It's just I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. 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 Everyone, oh, I'm a freshman in high school. I'm like, oh, sophomore's the first year, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Okay, so double-sided question for you on the parenting side, and then we can move on to another piece of paper, which is I, the father of a 7-year-old, not a teacher, and my wife is not a teacher. Your wife is a teacher, so this might be a little bit easier for you. How are you planning out James's summer? Like, how's he going to stay busy? How's he going to stay up on schoolwork so his brain doesn't melt? How's he going to, like, I have so many kids in my neighborhood that are like, I talk to their parents like, oh, I signed them up for this camp, and then they're going to go to this camp, and then they're going to this camp, and they've built like 12 camps to get them through like the 11 weeks of summer. We have, there's actually a really cool school around the corner from us that is for like 9 months out of the year, a daycare and preschool. But during the summer, they will accept elementary school age kids for a special like summer program, right? And every day they do think they go outside, they grow plants, they do a lot of like stuff with their hands, like learning with their hands, and actually like getting dirty and doing stuff as opposed to just like sitting in a classroom and a teacher tries to teach you stuff. And I love that. So I got my summer parenting handled there. My wallet is handling it. But what are your plans for being a parent this summer before high school?
Oh, well, this summer's a little different. And normally I would just say, look, Mitzi's been a master of this, of finding those exact camps and a science camp here. And it was this, that, the other thing, but just exactly what you described, a patchwork of camps and this and that, to get from here to there. Helix does do some summer transition activities.
That's fun.
Which, I think will be helpful. But what makes this summer different is Mitzi and James are going to the Philippines for 2 weeks. A little bit later in the summer. I forget whether it's the end of June or whether it's the beginning of July or it straddles. But
aren't you taking him to Kendrick Lamar at some point too?
Yeah, that's in like 3 weeks.
Cool.
May 21st, I think. Yeah, originally scheduled because the Padres had a morning game in Toronto the next day, so I knew I wouldn't have a show. But turns out still don't have a show, so I guess that worked out. Yeah,
you can still go to the show, Craig. You still go
exactly. No problem. No problem at all.
So you got two weeks of the summer. You're a single dad. Man, you play golf so much.
Oh, I will. And then we're still going to try and go on a week's vacation. Cool. Going to national parks, you shudder because I know a lot of them have been just gutted by staff and whatnot. But that's been our little thing the last 4 years, kind of our summer tradition. So see if we can keep it going. I don't know, maybe go up to, we haven't done the Arches in Utah. Could go that direction or something else, but I'd like to do another, week for us. So that's 3. And he goes back, like his first day at Helix is August 7th.
Oh, wow. So there's not a lot of time there.
Yeah, not a lot. So that part, it's truncated as well. And when you throw those 3 weeks of vacation in, there's not that much time. But getting his ass off the couch is a daily issue. And I'm not kidding you that if I just, he hasn't had his Switch for about a month because everything deteriorated. His grades deteriorated. His attitude deteriorated. He was getting in trouble more, both at home and at school. And it was like everything was centered around my gaming time, my time. I need this time, and it's like, nope. It's been sitting in the drawer of our bedroom for over a month now, to the point that he hasn't even talked about it for a while, which is actually good. But even so, even with that, if I left him to his wiles, he would get up at a stupid early time, like 5:30, go sit on the couch, wrap himself in a blanket, turn on YouTube, let the shorts wash over him, for an endless amount of time, eventually migrate to an anime. It is fun watching him start to grow as like somebody, and I'm telling you, this concert has been a huge trigger for it. Like, just start listening to more music.
Oh, he's getting interests.
Yeah. And so like, he's got this artist, I don't know if it says pronounced David, it's D4VD. But it's a young guy who croons poppy stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not bad, but he's been playing the album all the time because it's out on YouTube. You know, he's been playing that all the time. But like, he would literally watch YouTube for 17 straight hours and only get up to eat or piss. You know, like that would be it the whole day. And he's completely happy doing that. And other than swimming, like, our biggest issue is just getting him to give a shit about anything. You know, and to give his all. And he's very service oriented. He's senior patrol leader, but now he's decided he hates scouts. And he's just at that age right now. It just feels like he's an op to everything. You know, oh, you like this? I hate it. You hate this? I like it. You know, and I get it. It's just part of 13 going on 14 and everything that's happening. And like, I always get mad because he's always frowning and like, and then I literally remember that in 7th and 8th grade, my parents were always on me. Like, why don't you fucking smile? Not fucking, but why don't you smile in photos? Like, every photo I was like,
Do you remember why you weren't smiling? Were you trying to look cool?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want me to smile? You know, like, I'm not that happy. I'm not.
I had a couple when I was a kid where my parents were like, "Why aren't you smiling in pictures?" I was like, "I'm trying to look cool." Like, knock that shit off. And they did say, knock that shit off. Let's grab another piece of paper because we have a lot and I want to see how many we can get through in the next like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, parenting, hard. You know, don't do it unless you have to.
This one could maybe be quick. This says SDSU football.
Huh.
I have this thing about SDSU football. Currently, lives in my brain more than it should, which is I feel like the program was on an upward trajectory, and that's part of how we got Snapdragon Stadium, how San Diego State got Snapdragon Stadiums. Everyone's like, hey man, the program's growing and maybe someday they'll be in the Pac-12, which doesn't exist anymore. And you know, that it's going to get bigger. It's going to be our own version of like UCLA, like, and we're going to have this great stadium that will fill up and it'll be loud and fantastic environment. You know, we're just, you know, we're winning 8, 9 games a year, 7 games a year and feeling real good about ourselves. And it just feels like the wheels are falling off lately. It feels like no buttons they've pushed in the last few years are working. The team is bad and boring, like the worst combination. And they don't seem like they have much of a plan to get out of it. But that's someone who doesn't pay a lot of attention to San Diego State football. You pay more. Not a lot, but more. Do you have any takes on San Diego State football, or would you like to pass on to the next piece of paper?
I can do this fast. I mean, one of the things that I considered just a part of the job doing the midday show was that I had to pay attention to things that I otherwise wouldn't.
Sure.
And the Aztecs last year were one of those things. And, you know, the odds of me paying a lot of attention to the Aztecs football program this season would be entirely dependent on them doing anything worth paying attention to, which I think is probably almost a no-go chance.
So you're a pretty standard San Diego sports fan at this point who's not an SDSU alumni.
Right. I mean, and like, why would you? I think the age of NIL destroys programs at the level of San Diego State. And when you compound that with the fact that the move from the Mountain West to the Pac-12, which is 7, you know, working on 8, it is supposed to be in service of that program. They're moving into a conference with Gonzaga that's going to get every benefit that San Diego State gets as a program, but all that money is going to go to their men's basketball program and the other programs on campus. Whereas for San Diego State, the lion's share of that money is going to go into propping up a program that would be much better dissolved, in my opinion. Would be just much better just to get rid of it, and have San Diego State compete as a basketball first university and have all of that money go into San Diego State basketball, which is a legitimate national level program that's competing for the key players. But what happens when a player gets a little too big for their britches in San Diego? Now they're moving to Kentucky. Now they're moving to Ohio State to get $4 and $5 million contracts to play college basketball. Well, the Aztecs can't compete with that when they're funding the Aztec Fast, 3-and-9 program that's drawing 8,000 people to Snapdragon Stadium to watch Nevada Reno run roughshod on them, or UNLV triple option them to death. Like, what's the actual upside for San Diego State University's men's football program? To me, it is, that 1 year that everything comes together so that you can be Boise State and get your ass handed to you in the college football playoff by an SEC school, the sixth place SEC school. It's still an unfair playing field no matter what, because those conferences are getting 10x what you're getting. So, I mean, honestly, Aztecs football to me is just a morass. It's an anchor around the program, the university's overall athletic department, and the best thing they could do would be to get rid of it, and that's the one thing they're not going to do. So I feel it will just continue to restrict Coach Dutcher's chances of winning a national championship for a long time.
If I had a gavel, I would gavel us out of that one into the next piece of paper, because you said it all, Craig. You nailed it. You did better than I could. All right. Oh, we can do this one quick, but you're going to be excited for this.
Okay.
This has 2 separate words on it. The first word says Chihuahua, and the second word says steak with an exclamation point. Let's spend like 2 minutes here. I saw both of your steaks on Instagram, and you said the best steaks you ever had in your life.
Yeah.
They didn't look like the best steak I've ever had in my life, but I believe you. So tell me about these steaks that you had in Chihuahua and any other stories you want to tell from your ventures into Mexico with the Sockers.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you happen to be in Chihuahua, and I'm not sure why you would be, in the capital city of the capital state, the state of Chihuahua, the capital seat of Chihuahua, northern Mexico, coming down from the El Paso Juarez area, but going further in to get to Chihuahua, 4,662 feet elevation. If you happen to be there, though, I would recommend you stay in Distrito Uno, which was like a fashion valley, honestly, that with a hotel in the middle of it, and Policia regularly stationed, made you feel very safe. You could walk around it, all the kinds of shops and restaurants and bars. Just about anything you could imagine was right there, either on the first floor or the second floor, within a quarter-mile distance. And this top-of-the-line Mexican steakhouse called Machomos, which actually I have since discovered has a Tijuana branch that is visitable across the border.
Road trip.
Yes. Yeah, very short road trip.
Yep.
It's right there. They specialize in Sonoran beef, which everyone in Mexico is like, oh, well, the Sonoran, that's the best. This is the Sonoran. So they specialize in the best beef. And the specialty of Machomos are ribeyes. And the second night, I got a ribeye a la tabla. Comes on a hot stone table, and it had a thing of fresh garlic that had been grilled, and it had a smear of butter that you can just kind of like play with there. And it was very flavorful meat. It was, deliciously prepared. Really, really good. Excellent. More than I could finish. The night before, I ordered filetes a la mantequilla, which is basically filet mignon medallions drowned in butter and garlic and herbs and whatnot.
I see that. That sounds like my style.
And I mean, every bite, I felt like I was closer to God. It was just this. So the funny thing is, it was the whole team had been delayed 3 hours our flight from leaving Tijuana to fly to Chihuahua because of strong winds entering Chihuahua. And we experienced it coming in, like some yucky Tower of Terror turbulence stuff as we were approaching Chihuahua. But so we got in late, and everyone was like panicked because they had the whole team like that had gone down there and gotten their ass kicked over and over. Still, the thing that they were excited about was going to the steakhouse.
That's the reason for the trip, Craig.
Like literally, like the captain of the team was like, well, we're going to the steakhouse, right? And then like the team manager's like, well, oh man, our reservation was for, 8 or whatever. And now, our flight won't get in till, almost 10. And like we land, he's like, oh, don't worry. I got a reservation made. I got a reservation. And like, I heard him do it and it was for 9:40 and we were in the baggage claim was 9:45. I'm like, I don't think we're going to make your reservation, bro. Like, I don't think we're going to make it. Well, somehow we made it. Right. So then I realized like why, it's because it was just like, I inadvertently ordered a $170 bottle of wine that night. Oops. Did not see the wine list. Just asked for a Petite Sirah.
Oh.
They brought it out all right. Oh, baby.
Very quickly. I'm sure they brought it out very quickly.
Yeah. And let me tell you, it was great. It was so good. That bottle of wine was so good. So Friday was just, the filetes a la mantequilla. The funny story was, so there was a player sitting across from where me and the other broadcaster, Philly, were sitting. Guy from Spain, Keiko Gontan. And I think he might even be vegetarian or something, or pescatarian. I think he ordered fish. But like he saw me as like I take the bite of steak and I'm just like my mind like vacates and like I think I was like shaking colors my head. You've never seen before. Yeah, like shaking my head like, is this real? Am I in a right? And like I did it like I had to have done it like twice. Like I took a bite, I did this reaction. I took another bite, I did this reaction. And he looks at me and goes, the meat no good?
My best steak ever story, which I won't tell here because it's probably too long, involves me taking those 2 bites, basically like seeing colors I've never seen before. I think at one point I was there with my mom. I turned to my mom and I was like, why does this taste different than any steak I've ever had? Like, this is just... And the waiter comes around. He's like, can I get you guys anything? I was like, another steak, please. Second steak, as fast as you can bring it. He was like, really? My mom's like, no, he's joking. But no, good steak will do that too. All right. We have 10-ish minutes left. I want to talk Padres with you. So let's open up these papers until we get to the Padres. We'll find out the stuff that didn't make it.
I'll give you 10 seconds that didn't make it. What do you got?
This one says San Diego FC.
Struggling, defense bad, hope to make their next match.
Okay, you went faster than I can open up the paper. This one says NBA playoffs / Lakers.
I think their season's about to end. And, luckily we have another decade of Luka to figure it out. So
they could use a center. I found the one that says Padres, so we're gonna put that one down. We have 2 more to open up, and then we can get into the Padres. All right, this one, which I just ripped, says Annie and Elsten. You already kind of talked about Annie and Elsten.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad Annie's got the thing going at SDF at the Union Tribune. I know it's a freelance gig, and I wish we had been better served, but it was fun while it lasted.
This one says politics / government.
Yeah, fuck.
You pass.
I mean, highly unpopular, and I will just say I did think about the idea of purchasing which we don't have room for. We literally don't have room for, like a garage fridge, cold storage to like stock up on shit this week before all the tariffs hit and people are panicking over whatever it is, $14 bread or whatever. It won't be $14 bread, but but I'm not sure what to buy, and we don't have room anyway. So, but anyways, I considered it. I thought about it.
There's a story the New York Times put out the other day that was a really good. They'd actually walked you through like a typical American house and showed you what percentage of each thing comes from like China, And it was basically like, here are the places where, prices are going to skyrocket pretty soon. It was mostly like electronics and it wasn't really food related stuff, which I appreciated. Which they did it for me. But yeah, I mean, the world is on fire. It's all bad. Let's try and distract ourselves with the very bad Padres. I want to read for you. Letters to AJ put out a newsletter this morning.
Yeah, I read it.
Did you? It's going to take me all day to read it. It's like 10,000 words. But
I thought you might bring it up here literally. So at 9, I sat down and I read it. But I would have read it anyway because he's great and he does a great job. And actually, he was much harder on Schilt, and I realized I should have been harder on Schilt for Sunday's game. I got kind of lost in the reverie of the missed strike 3.
Yeah.
That started the whole Vasquez undoing, but the fact that he was in the game at all was truly criminally negligent, knowing how bad the offense is right now. So
right.
Great point by Dylan.
Yeah, I read this quickly. I haven't, by read it quickly, I mean, I didn't click play on any of the many, many videos.
Right.
Which means I'm going to go back, I'm going to reread it, I'm going to click play on those. But I loved the summation at the top. Like, I think this was the first paragraph, and I just want to read it because I think it perfectly encapsulates where the Padres are today, right now. There's a chain, quote, there's a chain reaction leading to value destruction for the Padres offense so much more than first jumps off the page when looking at the names alone. Jackson Merrill's injury meant not just the loss of an MVP-level center fielder, it was also value destructive to the left field production as the platoon of Lockridge and Hayward were forced into simultaneous duty, negating the advantages each had enjoyed when they were able to only face their favorable platoon matchups. Makes sense. With Lockridge thrust into full-time center field duty, Oscar Gonzalez was called up to take his spot as the right-handed platoon option in left. Then Jake Cronenworth hit the IL. Initially, the Padres looked equipped to weather this injury when they called up left-handed Tyler Wade, who would platoon with Jose Iglesias, both of whom fare pretty well against their preferred platoon matchup. But then Brandon Lockridge went down to a hamstring injury, pulling Wade to cover center field, destroying the platoon value Wade had provided at second base. Then Jason Hayward went down to a knee injury, forcing Oscar Gonzalez into a full-time role in left field. Then Luis Ariz went down with a concussion after an awful collision in Houston. Gavin Sheets had been the left-handed DH platoon on days that Luis Ariz played first base. But suddenly Sheets was the team's starting first baseman. Pulling Sheets into full-time duty at first base completed a chain reaction that saw lesser players inserted into center field, left field, second base, first base, and destroyed the platoon flexibility of left field, second base, first base, and DH in the process. The value destruction from the rash of injuries goes way beyond the downgrade in talent of the individual players. The injury not only put worse players on the field, they also put those players in a worse position to succeed. Boom. He nailed it. Nailed it. It's, and Darren and I have been going back and forth on you can't just sit around and go, the injuries. But this is the way to go, guys, it's a lot of injuries for a roster to handle at this time. And every time there's another injury, it just stretches the team further and further and further until they reach some sort of breaking point. Funny aside first, because you'll enjoy this, and then I kind of want your take on some of this. We were talking earlier about sports media and getting worse and team employees and all that stuff. At one point, because I knew we were going to talk Padres probably, I wanted to do this bit where there's actually a curse on the Padres, and that's why they're bad, and that's why they're getting so injured. And the curse will have started with Dylan Cease shaving his beard. Because they made such a big deal about Dylan Cease shaving his beard that I want to make fun of them. But now I'm like, wait a minute. A lot of bad stuff has happened since Dylan Cease shaved his beard. So I was trying to figure out what day that happened. And I just Googled Dylan Cease shave beard.
Yeah.
And one of the first stories came up was, Padres pitcher Dylan Cease surprised teammates when he shaved his beard. And when you read it, it makes no sense. The article says that he came into spring training, like April 11th, they were at spring training, and he came into the clubhouse in Peoria with a shaved beard. And it includes players that aren't on the team. Yes. Yeah. And I was like, this is 100% artificial intelligence trying to write a news story. and mixing up like how things were in March as opposed to April and not understanding that spring training is a different season in a different place with different players. It was very sad. I was going to say funny. It wasn't funny. It was very sad. But putting aside the Dylan Cease beard shaving curse, which might actually be a thing. I don't know. Do you have any take beyond this? Like, it's just horrible luck. Like, I was thinking about it this morning. The first couple weeks, I was like, yeah, they're playing really well, but every button they're pressing is working, right? Like, Jake Cronenworth had a double that he hit off the pitcher's foot and rolled into a dugout. Like, everything was going their way. They got every bounce, every decision Shildt made was the right one. And this just feels like a regression to the mean as far as luck goes. And I'm glad that I started this with Dylan's post on Letters to AJ, because he's actually going to come on with me later this week and we're going to chat about it. And the last time he was on, him and I had a very interesting conversation about luck and how much like mentality plays into luck. And now that when I talked to him last time, when he was on last time, the Padres were getting really lucky. Now that it seems that their luck has turned, I'm interested to have that conversation with him all over again. But do you think this is just luck?
Well, I mean, the fact that everyone's injured at the same time and that it's stacked the way that it is stacked is 100% bad luck. You know, Jackson Merrill didn't do something wrong from a conditioning standpoint to pull his hamstring. You know,
well, like the Cronenworth injury is definitely bad luck. The Arise injury is definitely bad 100%, luck.
100%, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you could say if you roster an aging player like a Hayward that he's more likely to get hurt, sure. But by and large, that would have meant that Lockridge and Merrill would have stayed healthy, and they didn't. So, you know, injury luck is injury luck. And, you know, I'm always reminded of when I worked for the Gulls, and the team would be, like, the Ducks would be playing well, and they would be healthy, and then the Gulls would be healthy, and they would have such a good team that it felt like they couldn't be stopped. You know, and they'd win 5 games in a row, and like they'd have good players that couldn't make it onto the ice. And then the Ducks would call a guy up and it would be like, no big deal. We've got this good player who wasn't playing. He can just plug in. Oh, another guy comes up. Oh, that's fine. We had another guy that we can put in. We're okay. You know, power play takes a little hit. We're all right. Then 2 guys on your team get injured that night. And now all of a sudden it's 4 guys. And then the Ducks call up another guy. And then another guy gets hurt. And it's like within a week, you go from like, damn, I think we're untouchable to, holy shit, our goalkeeper was just playing in the ECHL a week ago. Like, I don't even know who this guy is, and we can't score more than 2 goals. And that's where the Padres are right now. And the thing that is worrisome to me is that they are facing a schedule that's just going to get harder and harder. They're lucky in the sense that these have hit and they've taken a 3-8 here. I was just looking ahead because I was talking to my dad this morning, and he was asking when the Padres play the Dodgers. You know,
it's not for a long time, right?
It's not until June. Oh, it's not until June, but it is in the stretch that I would say is a killer, or could be a killer for any team. Check this out. All right. Right at the beginning of June, starting on June 2nd, the Padres will go on a 7-game road trip, 4 at San Francisco, straight into 3 at Milwaukee, no off days. Then
no
they
off
will
days? In no Milwaukee?
No, no off days. I'm saying, like,
no. But they do. You said 4 at San Francisco,
right?
Which is making up for the fact they're doing 2 like this weekend,
right?
And then 3 in Milwaukee.
3 in Milwaukee
with no days off.
No days off. So
they got to play a game in San Francisco, get on a plane and play a game in Milwaukee the next day. That sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, this is as part of a very long stretch. Yeah. Because prior to that, they'll have played a 3-game series at home against the Pirates. Who knows if you face Skeens in that. Yeah. But that'll go right into the San Francisco series. They'll play, Sunday afternoon and then right up to San Francisco. Then they come home for 3 against the Dodgers, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then they will have 1 day off to travel, and then they will have 3 at Arizona, right into 4 in a row at LA. So that's a 10-game stretch of versus LA, at Arizona, at LA, that's preceded by what looks like a pretty tough Giants-Brewers road trip that you have no days off rolling into the Dodgers series. And then like it just keeps going. By the end of the first half, they go at Philadelphia, home to Texas, home to Arizona for 4, home to Philadelphia again for 3. Like June is going to be a brutal schedule. So the Padres need to be full health, everybody clicking back to themselves by the start of June. And if they are, I think they'll be fine. I still think this can be a 90-win team. They're just spending a lot of their bank right now. And the thing that I'm worried about is if Arise comes back tonight and is bad. His head's still hurting. He's still having trouble sleeping. And he just checks in for a 3 for 28. And is up there swinging at the first pitch, seeing 2 baseballs up there. Austin Nola had a concussion and just like it ended his career.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is going to end Lewis's career, but I also am not sure that he's going to roll in and get 3 hits tonight against Logan Webb. So I'm a little worried about when you get everyone back. It's like, oh, we got everyone back. We're good. It's going to take Merrill 2 weeks. It's going to take Cronenworth 2 weeks, and if it takes these guys a couple of weeks to get in sync again, the Padres could be a game or 2 under 500 going into that June gauntlet. Like it's not impossible for that to happen after starting 15-4. And that's rough to think about, but the team as currently constructed will not win unless their starter allows 1 or 2 runs max. And even then that's a little bit dicey. So like they got to get it going. And we don't have enough time to talk about Xander. That's a whole show into itself.
No, I have a very targeted specific Xander questions. Maybe we can get through it quickly. A very quick reply to that is like, my thing with the Padres is that like so rarely is everything clicking at the same time. And like you just said, like for June, they have to be like fully healthy and clicking. It's like, I get that all of these injured players are going to come back sometime in the next month, right? Like that's sure. Cron's coming back. Merrill's coming back. Arise coming back. They're all coming back. But then you have to keep everyone else healthy too. Like even if those guys are healthy, what if Tatis misses 2 weeks in June with a shoulder thing? What if Machado misses 2 weeks in June?
Never.
What if Gavin? Look.
What if Gavin Sheets? We could survive if Gavin Sheets misses 2 weeks. But.
Can we? Who's the DH? No. All right. Let's push all that aside. I just want to make the point of like all these guys being healthy in June does not fix it because it's so rare that you find a June where an entire MLB team is like injury free. Like it just doesn't happen. You always have to manage injuries. That's why depth is important. This is why you at one point pointed out, I guess kind of incorrectly because they won the fake title that year. But during the 2020 COVID season, you were like, the Dodgers are built for depth. They're built for a 162 game season. The Padres are loaded with superstars. They can win a short season. They can win a short series. They can run through the playoffs. And you were very close to being right about that.
Well, and then both their starters, the 2 starters that they needed in the short series, both lost their arms.
Yeah. But Xander, this is how I want to ask the Xander question. I saw a couple of people on Blue Sky or Twitter, I don't even remember which one, doesn't matter, saying that this is a lost, what's the word? Lost cause?
Lost cause, yeah.
No. Like it's a cost that you eat. You just look
sunk cost.
That's thank you. Brain wasn't firing up. And they're like, you have to look at Xander as a sunk cost and stop thinking about his contract. And they made the argument. It was 2 people, and they were like kind of agreeing with each other. They made the argument that if you ignore the contract, that you cannot start Xander Bogaerts. And they just said you cannot start him. Now, they didn't say you can't start him at shortstop or whatever. They just said he would be riding the bench if not for his contract. And I didn't get into it with him there, but my point in my head when I saw that was like, benching someone because they're bad is only effective if there's someone better behind them.
Right, that's it.
So, can you make an argument for benching Xander Bogaerts and the team getting better?
No, not at all. I mean,
it doesn't exist.
Mason McCoy. Okay, here's the one argument I would make. Mason McCoy would be a better defensive shortstop than Xander Bogaerts day by day. He would not make the errors, the careless errors that Xander Bogaerts looks checked out to me. And I'll tell you what, when you get into the middle part of Dylan's column, it's where he goes like into critical pitches in at bats where Xander got a cookie and wasn't ready for it.
I know. He keeps doing that.
And like was late to it, and his swing. Honestly, it reminded me of like another one of those dumb things I'll do sometimes with my golf swing, full circle, where I'm so focused on getting myself forward that like it's almost like a changeup came, even the ball wasn't moving. Like I swing and then there's no power, and I'm like, what happened? I went, oh, I was out of whack. Like, I was out of balance. He looks out of balance all the time. He's getting fooled on 2-0 fastballs down the middle. Like and then his errors are really errors of laziness. Honestly, the errors he made against Tampa, that's a routine play that he cocks up because he doesn't set his feet. Just as simple as he threw casually, not setting his feet. Then he runs over the top of Iglesias and creates an error on a pop fly. He just said literally deleting him like the leftovers, poof, gone, would have, allowed Iglesias to make the play. And so I agree that Xander Bogaerts isn't a starting shortstop in baseball right now. He's not close to it. Him batting cleanup is an indictment of the depth of the team, but him hitting anywhere higher than 7th or 8th when the team returns to full strength is going to be an issue of prestige over performance. And that's where I would get very frustrated. He's not playing well enough to play in baseball right now. And he's this dude has got like 10 homers with runners in scoring position in his entire time as a Padre.
Not really. You said homers?
Yeah.
Well, he's not really a home run hitter.
He used to be a 20 to 30 home run hitter.
You're kidding me.
No. And then he hit 19, and then he hit 11, and now this year he's sitting on 0. He's got 186 homers in his career.
Holy shit, he hit 33 home runs in 2019?
Yeah.
Wow.
Xander Bogaerts used to hit home runs. He used to have a slugging percentage.
Okay, wait, but this goes to the Phil Nevin, Ryan Klesko of it all, which is like, maybe he's not checked out. Maybe he just doesn't believe he can hit at Petco, right? Like, you hit 33 home runs and you're playing half your games at Fenway Park. It's a very different thing than hitting 33 home runs and playing half your games at Petco. And so, like, maybe he's just defeated by the Petco Park of it all, the pitcher's park of it all. And he's like, I don't know, man. Like, anything I do here is just going to get caught anyway. Like, maybe he's just going. This is what I was talking about with Dylan with luck. I'm like, you have to almost believe that the lucky thing's going to happen so that your body is in a position ready to make it happen. This is the whole, to bring it full circle to golf, like, picture the swing before you swing it, right? Imagine yourself doing the swing you want to do, and you have a better chance of actually doing it because you're putting yourself in a position of belief, of faith that this is going to happen. I think he's just stuck in a place where he's just like, he gets up there and he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can hit here. Like, it just might not, it's such a pitcher's park, and it's not for me. And I think he just doesn't like playing, here.
I don't know. I've never heard him say any of that.
That's fair.
And here's the thing. I looked all this stuff up over the weekend because honestly, I didn't know what the exact answers were. I just knew how I felt about it. I felt that Xander Bogaerts, since the day he set foot in San Diego wearing cleats, has been an abysmal failure every time he bats in big spots. When he bats with runners on, when he bats in the 4 spot or the 5 spot, which is where he's hit basically his entire Padres career, he is not doing what those positions demand, which is driving in runs. So I looked it up, and I want to be exact. In his entire time with the Padres, and it's now 250 at-bats with runners in scoring position, Xander Bogaerts has hit 6 homers. 6!
Yeah, but
6.
What's his batting average?
His batting average is 215.
Oh.
Okay? His batting
so much
average
worse.
is 215. John, his first year here, 2023, keep in mind, this was his good year.
Yeah, I know. He was okay.
Okay, this was his good year. He hit in the middle of the lineup the whole year. He had 175 4 plate appearances with runners in scoring position. And he hit 192. 192. Ooh. He slugged 340. And as a matter of fact, that's his highest slugging percentage with runners in scoring position as a Padre. Last year he slugged 333. This year he's slugging 227. 227. He has 15 extra base hits in his Padres tenure, hitting as a cleanup hitter. And you know what?
Wait, go back. Say that again.
In 15? Runners in scoring position situations. Okay. Situations with at least a runner at second base.
He's got 15 extra base hits?
He has 15 extra base hits the whole time. Guess what? He's grounded into 19 double plays in those spots. He has 4 more double plays than he has all extra base hits combined. And he has a total of 52 hits in those spots.
So here's what I'm hearing. Xander Bogaerts killed the 2023 Padres and killed Slam Diego.
Killed it. I mean, honestly,
there can be no more Slam Diego if you're coming up with like bases juiced and just grounding into double plays every time.
He's been as bad or worse than Eric Hosmer. And he's way more handsome, way more forgiving, way more honest, way more of a show up and do your hard work. But honestly, it doesn't show up. It doesn't show up on the field. On the field, he looks like a lazy defender. On the field, he makes plays that are overly casual for someone with as weak an arm as he has. And I'll tell you what, Luis Arraez saved him from 2 or 3 errors earlier in the year on the exact same kind of crappy, low, misaimed throw that he just scooped out. Like, I'm piling on, but right now, Xander Bogaerts ain't it. He is a problem. And honestly, Leo DeVries can't get here fast enough to send his ass into a utility role or to second base and then to a utility role. But there's a chance that, Aruba Ball Media, is set up with a 6-year head start after he retires and just leaves 5 or 6 of those years on the vine because he realizes he can't do it as a big league player. It's on Xander Bogaerts to show us that he's a big league player by the end of this year, or else the Padres have to make an adjustment where they don't plan on counting on him any year going forward.
Yeah, that was good, and that you kept that relatively short. I want to end with one question because I said something on the podcast yesterday. I said that this is at risk of becoming the worst contract in the history of baseball. Like, if he never gets better than this, then they've gotten no value for him and gave him $280 million for that no value. And I got a response from someone who was like, it can't possibly be a worse contract than Anthony Rendon with the Angels, because Anthony Rendon never plays, right? But Anthony Rendon did not sign an 11-year, $280 million contract. He signed like a 7-year, $230 million contract, which might be more per year. I don't know. But let's wrap up after this. Quick question. Is the Xander Bogaerts contract, I'm not going to ask if it's the worst in the history of baseball, because I didn't say it was. I said it could potentially be. Right now, today, is it worse than the Anthony Rendon contract?
The reason I'm going to say no is because I've read a lot of Sam Blum's work in The Athletic about the Angels and about Rendon. And the thing about Rendon is that he is an asshole. He's bad
too.
Yeah, he's bad to the fans. He's terrible to the press. He's not even good to young players on his own team. He's selfish. He is lazy. He does not work hard at all. And he's just generally a dick. And I think he's one of those people that's an anchor that sinks everything, sinks culture, sinks chemistry, sinks everything. Bogaerts, by all accounts, is a mensch.
Good guy.
Good, solid guy, shows up, honest, accountable. He's the one in the locker room not saying, hey man, I'm a big league ball player. You're not a big league ball player. You don't know what to say. He's the one saying, look at me. I'm not doing well enough. I need to do better. I know I need to do better. Like, he's got all those things going for him. So in that sense, there's still the idea that Xander, and here's the other thing. Anthony Rendon doesn't want to play baseball. Yeah. He made that abundantly clear that he just doesn't want to play. Yeah. So you knew then as the Angels, it doesn't matter if he's healthy or not. He's not going to play and he's not going to perform because he doesn't want to. He's literally
checked out. This is what you said. Xander looks checked out. And I was like, no, there's a version of checked out that I don't think Xander is.
And so that's why Xander's only like top 3 worst contracts in baseball, is because he's going to show up in some form every year, which gives you the thought that maybe this is the turnaround year. He doesn't get hurt the whole year, but his skills appear to have deteriorated to an incredibly low level, and it's on him to fix it. I'm not trying to say like we should cut Xander Bogaerts. It's on him to fix this. And if he's not going to fix it, then it's on the Padres to not put him in anywhere near the middle of the lineup forevermore. So, God forbid that it is forevermore. Hopefully he is going to get red hot for a month and prove his worth in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it would be great. It'd be great. Like, I think about this a lot. Like the first couple of years of Steph Curry's career, there was a lot of people who were like, he's a good shooter, but like he's never going to be healthy. His ankles are always hurt. He's whatever. And then he like figured it out. And I don't mean like he just figured out how to be a good basketball player. Like he tried a bunch of different things with his shoes and his socks to stabilize his ankles so that his ankles wouldn't constantly be getting sprained and hurt and he wasn't missing time. Now he's one of the more durable players in basketball, at least one of the more durable superstars in basketball. And, I think that can happen at any point. So yeah, I'm hopeful that whatever is, you said his skills have deteriorated. I'm still sitting here, the optimist, going like, I hope he figures out how to get it back.
Yeah, so. I hope so too. And yeah, I mean, we can leave it at that. It's just disappointing, but hey, go Pods. Let's hope that they don't get their asses swept this next 2 days. That'd be really nice.
That would be really nice to not be swept again at home, I think. Actually, I know it's home because I am, I think, going to the game tomorrow. Are you going to the afternoon game tomorrow?
I don't think so. I think I have to pick up James.
Got it.
Yeah. I saw Nate Abarea needed a ticket. I was going to offer him a ticket.
My beloved Caesar Torres hit me up yesterday after being on our show last week and said, I have an extra ticket for Wednesday. And
amazing.
He had heard a previous episode where I was saying I hadn't been to an afternoon weekday day game in quite some time. And then I missed it. So here we go. Weekday day game tomorrow, if all goes according to plan. Craig, thank you for being so generous with your time. Thank you for joining me in my hour of need while Darren travels. And everyone can go listen to Darren on Padres Hot Tub. Go and join.
Well, you can listen to Craig. Darren will not be there.
Not Craig and Darren. Craig and Rafi and Chris.
Yes.
You can subscribe over at PadresHotTub.com. They do a lot of post-game shows, which we don't do. They do an episode usually with the 3 of them on Monday nights that I think comes out Tuesday morning. At least that's when I listen to it. I listen to a lot of this morning's. I think you guys are crazy about Luis Campisano, but that's okay. That's besides the point. We could talk about that on a different day. So if you like this and you like Craig, go subscribe over there. That is his full-time job now. New media man.
Media man. Well, I do work for the Sockers now again, but that's nice.
That's off-season, Craig.
Yeah, I know.
You don't need to work in the off-season. All right. Thank you, Craig.
All right, you bet. Take care.